can come back in the chair and then lean forward as far as you can. Come back, and then we're gonna lean forward once more, all the way down. Personally, I do my chest as close to my knees as I can. And while you're down here, we'll come back up. When you go back down, you can try to touch your toes as well. You can just come over, reach for our toes. And then come back up. So that's the easy one. That gets our midsection, our core worked all the way around the obliques to the abs. So now holding the chair, 2 hands. I'm gonna keep one foot on the ground, doesn't matter which one. I'm just gonna pick my foot up here, and I'm just gonna show you. My foot is gonna try to be toes pointed upward as high as I can get them. So not out towards you, but as upward as I can get them. Keep this out, and I'm just gonna bring my knee in. Just really slowly, just bring it in. Keeping your foot really low. That's just, we're getting our quads going. With your toe extended upwards, it hits your calves, this part of your leg as well. So that's a good way to get your leg going. So I'll do the other side, just toes up, in and out. Now this time, it might be a little bit more difficult. You might need to lean back, but we're gonna try to angle our heel up higher off of the ground. So before I was down here, I would say about 3 or 4 inches off of the ground. Now I'm up here, I would say about a foot off the ground if you can. I'm just gonna show you to the camera just to make it easy for you. But it's the same concept, bring it in and keep it pushed out. So this is like a leg press motion, so just be a single leg press. And try to keep your toe pointed upwards. I'll switch feet. Like I said, leaning backwards might help you balance just a bit easier. You can try to bring your knee all the way up to your chest. So while we're here, holding onto the chair, once again, I'm sitting up straight. And we're just gonna bring our knees up. I'm just gonna turn sideways just so you can see what I mean. Just sitting up straight, just bringing my knees up off the ground just a little bit. Notice my torso does not rock backwards. That's not what we wanna do. Try to keep your torso upright, right here. You should feel it right in your midsection. This is a beginner crunch that we did last week. While you're here, you can try to lift your knees up, kick your knees out. I don't know if you heard my knees crack. That was great for me, just only a little bit painful. So knees up, legs out, bring it back. Bring it back. If that's too difficult for you, just keep one leg on the ground, knee up and out. Really focusing on keeping your torso upright. Don't want to rock side to side. Just gonna do a couple more. Now while we're here, we're gonna go across our body. So I'm going my right shoulder, right elbow to my left knee. Yes, flex the bicep, that's great. Now this time, have my legs stretched out. It's resting on the ground, my leg is stretched out. And I'm taking my elbow and I'm going further, coming further down. Yep. And you should feel it on your sides. This is how you get your summer body, just by simple ab workouts. Now I'll switch sides.
Sure.
You can bring this leg all the way out. way across. This is a good exercise for you to try on the floor on your own. Just laying down on your back, lift your legs up, and just try to come straight across your body. You could do it in two forms. You can do it with your legs bent, or you can do it with your legs up in the air like a crunch. Either way, I would suggest with your legs bent first, just to get the motion. You don't need to go all the way up and come back down to feel a burn or to work out your abs. Going up 60 to 70% and coming back down is perfectly fine. So while you're seated, it's not going to be as much of a workout as when you were laying down working against gravity, but there is still a stretch, there's still a core function that's working, so that can definitely help. Now I'll transition to my arms. So I'm just going to reach across, all the way across. My hand is about 4 or 5 inches up from my elbow. I don't know how long your arms are, but we're coming across. My left arm is pulling my right arm across. I'm trying to keep my chest centered to the camera. And then I'll switch sides. And I'll come back. I'm gonna raise my hand up like I'm doing a layup, like I'm gonna give a very tall person a high five, whatever you want to call it, and I'm reaching across just like this. Come back, and we're going across. Don't lean too hard or too fast and fall off your chair, because I will not be there to assist you. And we'll switch sides. Each time, try to lean farther and farther. And we'll come back. I have my hand on my head with my elbow, and I'm trying to pull it slightly backwards and slightly down. So I'm pulling my arm. Then I'll switch. And then we'll do our lat raises. So my hands are out, flat to the side, and I'm gonna lean forward just a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 inches. Just come all the way out, and then come back down. All the way out, and then back down. As you lean, how close your body is to your knees, that angle affects which part of your arm you will feel. So if we lean just a bit more forward, you should feel just a slightly different part of your arm feeling it. So first I started here, and now I'm over here. So this is actually really good for your arms. If you ever want to go to the gym and get free weights, maybe 2 to 5 pounds, and we're just doing our lat raises. This is a good workout. If you don't believe me, we're gonna do about 10 of these, keeping your arms straight. That was about 100 personally. I don't know how many you guys did. And then I'm coming back. So now we're gonna bend all the way over, just like we did when we first started, and we're gonna do the same thing. This time you'll feel it more on your back of your shoulder rather than the front of your arm or the side of your arm. And 100. All right, great. So now we're gonna stand. have the chair in front of me now. And once again, I'll take my right hand to the left side of the chair, going all the way over, and just hold that. Once again, all the way over, we're gonna hold that. Now I'll do my left hand to the right side of the chair, all the way over. And all the way over. This time I'm gonna reach out in front of me, over the chair, still going across my body. All right. So this time my butt is gonna be sticking out a little bit more. Feel free to bend your knees. And then I'm gonna switch sides. If someone ever walks in on you doing this, just say you drop something. All right. Now I'm here. Bring my foot up just a little bit off of the ground, going backwards, just like this. I'm just gonna rest on my toes. I'm out, rest on my toes. Resting on my toes. Very simple. Then I'm gonna switch feet, resting on my toes. Resting on my toes. Come back. This time, I'll be grabbing my foot. Feel free to squat down if it makes it a little bit easier. Still holding the chair, don't want you to fall backwards. Grab it for a second, make it even with your other leg, and then come down. It's even with my other leg, and then come down. I don't want to just catch it here and rest it, not really feeling a stretch there. Just gonna bring it back even with my leg. Then I'll switch. This time we're gonna go back even further. So I'm bringing it up, grabbing, pulling it even with my leg, and I'm gonna go back just a little bit more. Feel free to lean your torso forward slightly. It's okay to put your weight on the chair. As long as your other foot remains planted, should feel a stretch, shouldn't fall over. And then I'll switch. Now we're gonna get into our lunge progressions. So if you remember, we're right behind the chair. One foot is gonna go back about a normal step. And I'm gonna drop my knee, maybe a fourth, just a little bit, just like that. Down, drop just a little bit. Just a little bit. You should be able to do these fairly quickly. Not really feeling too much tension on my quad yet. Switch sides, make sure they're even. Now this time I am going to go back farther, so I'm going to step back a little bit farther than normal. I'm going to drop down about 3/4 of the way, going all the way down, and then come back up. Lean forward, keep your weight on the chair. Step back, 3/4 of the way down, and come back up. Back, 3/4 of the way down, and come back up. Do it once more. Do it at your own pace. It's a good stretch. When you pause, you should feel it rather than just going by quickly. I'll give you an example. If I just come back up versus come down, go real slow, come back. All right. Once again, I'm on the chair. This time I'm not behind it, I'm just taking a step off, holding with one hand. I'm gonna come down. What we're gonna do first, lean our shoulders forward slightly, 4th, and I'm gonna come down about halfway. So just halfway, I start to feel a little bit, and I'm gonna come back up. Start to feel a little bit, come back up. This time around, we're gonna try to keep our shoulders back. I'll rotate for you so you can see what I mean. So instead of leaning forward, squatting about halfway, this time I'm gonna try to stay upright, holding the chair, about halfway, come back up. Halfway, come back up. Got the chair. Gonna stand actually in front of the chair now. We're gonna do some air squats. Couple ways to do these. Really simple one is to put your arms out to try to balance yourself, because we still want to keep our torso upright. So you can start with our hands out, coming down, still about halfway, not quite to the chair personally, just right over the chair. Try to do that about 10 times. The slower you go, the more it burns. Do you want it to burn? I don't know. This time I'm going to start in the chair. We are going to stand all the way up. So what I'm going to do actually is put my feet a little bit closer to the chair than when I sit. So just bring them in just a little bit. So where I normally sit personally, bring them in just a little bit. Not too much, not under the chair. Just a little bit tighter. And we're going to go up and come back down. If you ever go to the gym, this is an exercise you can do, is putting bench under you if you ever want to squat any amount of weight. Right at the Health and Aquatic Club. It's 31264 Americana Parkway. Bayside Resort Golf Club, Selbyville, Delaware. All right, then we're gonna get into our abductions. So I'm going behind the chair again. There's lots of rotating. My legs are straight, and I'm just going straight out. You can alternate if you like to do that, but you want to keep your legs straight. Don't try to bend it, just straight out to the side. It's okay to lean side to side. Keep your base, keep your weight right above the chair to balance yourself. That's completely fine. Don't move your foot that does not leave the ground. Try to have it in one spot. And you should feel it right here on the side. Okay, great. So now we're going to get into a side lunge. So instead of starting here, dipping, we're actually going to go to the side, just like that. So I'm just stepping to the side, bending my knee. My torso stays. Keep one hand on the chair. Don't go too far, don't go too deep, too low. Just nice little, just a little side lunge. Almost as if I'm shifting my weight, my knee's just bending just a little bit. So you can do that on both sides, the side lunge. That's why it's good to stretch the abductions first, so that way you can get into this, put your weight on it. This time I'm going to go a little bit lower, just so you can see me. We're out, a little bit lower. If it's easier for you, you can step out and dip, and then come back. Out, and come back. When you're coming back in, you're pushing off of this foot rather than pulling with your off leg. So I'm down, really getting a push in here. You should feel on the inner quad. Push. and push. I'll do it on the other side. You want your torso to remain upright, but obviously as you're traveling, your body's gonna shift, and that's okay. So don't worry about trying to balance it out, it's all right. All right, so now we're gonna combine these three things together, the abductions, the squats, and the side lunges. Let me show you first, and then we'll do it with the chair. So, coming down as if I'm doing a squat, right? Squat. Instead of going straight down, I'm gonna go to the side, bend down. I'm about halfway down, let's say, for my squat. Then I'm gonna come all the way down into my squat, about halfway again on my right side, and then standing up. Circular movement, so halfway, all the way down, halfway, back up. All right, so you can do that behind the chair, holding the chair if that's easier. So halfway, all the way down, halfway, and back up. Or if you want, be a little risky, we can go in front of the chair, halfway, I'm on the chair now, I'm back up, just like that. So you can use the chair as you're down, as your base, so that way you don't fall. Put your hands on the chair, come back up. But that's what we want, is that circular motion. You can go in reverse, you can go back, whatever direction you want. So you should feel a little bit movement on your knees, not too much. We don't want to tear any ACLs, MCLs, TCLs, LDLs, whatever the L's are. We don't want to tear those. So you can go slow, you can go faster, whatever is best for you. So that's a really good one. Those are good lower body exercises. Maybe using some muscle you didn't know you had, haven't used in a while. What I like to do to cool off, sit down. We're just gonna open our legs just a little bit, reach out in front of us. Just like that, not too far. This time we're gonna go down, try to touch the ground in between our legs, and come back up. Come back up. And then we're going, bring our legs a little bit wider, down, and back up. Down, and back up. My legs still spread apart. My right hand to my left knee, turning all the way. Keeping my shoulders facing out, both shoulders. I can turn back to the other side. And back. So those are good for you, really good. Hitting your hamstrings, quads, and your calves. Exercise, eating right, always good things. Really want to focus on bending as low as you can, getting as deep as you can in the squats, and coming back up. I like to use a chair, even personally, like if I'm working out, especially like with weights. That way I'm not going to go too far down and get stuck and not be able to come back up. Highly suggest going to the gym, doing some of these exercises just with weights. So you can grab a weight in your hand and do a side lunge. You can grab a weight in your hand, two hands, and just do lunges, whatever is easiest for you. And then of course you can grab some dumbbells, find a bench, and just stand up and sit back down. Should feel it in your quads. Don't want to lean over when you do that. That's not what we want. We want to keep it straight up. Some people prefer the weights because it helps you know, okay, my body is straight up, or oh, I lean forward because I can feel myself, can feel the weights getting heavier. Basically is what happens. Gravity starts to take over at that point. So keep them up right there and you should feel it. So I always suggest just doing a total body workout, total body stretch before you actually get into a workout. Even if you're gonna do cardio, I would say just stretch around, especially your legs. I know for me, it's best that I stretch my quads and my calves, especially before cardio workout. Everything else can kind of keep up. And we don't want to put too much pressure on our knees. That's why it's good to always have a bent position. So even when I'm standing up like this, my knees are slightly bent. I don't want to be fully out and try to come back down, just slightly bent, down and back up. All right.
Does anybody have any questions for Chase?